Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the school committee meeting for tonight, Monday, May 18th, 2020. Roll call, please.
Kathleen Amaral,
Here.
Chris Oliver,
Here.
Carol Karafotis,
Here.
Shannon Jenkins,
Here.
John Nunes.
Yep.
Great. We all know by now, because Governor Baker suspended certain provisions of the open meeting law, that our school committee is allowed to conduct our meeting remotely. Members of the public can access the meeting via live stream on YouTube on Dartmouth High School TV Media YouTube channel. In addition, this meeting will be rebroadcast on DCTV channels 9 and 18 on Wednesday and Thursday, 5 p.m., Friday, 6 a.m., Saturday, 8 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. In regards to public comment, members of the public can send comments related to an agenda item via email to Kate Genther. She's our recording secretary, and please include your name. Kate's email can be found in the description of this YouTube video, and it is Kathleen, Kathleengentner at dartmouthschools.org. And we will be opening public comment a little bit later in the agenda, closer to 7, to allow time for people to email any comments to Kate. But first on our agenda, I would like to ask Dr. Gifford to do an introduction for us. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm hoping she's coming in, but tonight we're very happy to introduce the person who will be our early education childhood director over at Cushman School, taking the place of Melissa McHenry, of course. So we're happy to have Dr. Justine Dale coming to us from Falmouth. Justine is a longtime educator and has been a principal at one of the elementary schools in Falmouth. So I'm hoping she's here, being let in, and we've asked her to be able to say a few words to the committee, and so the committee can get to know her.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect. Yes, we can hear you.
Great. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to attend your school committee meeting tonight, and allowing me to share with you just how excited I am to be joining your district and your dynamic team. I'm excited to be working professionally again with Dr. Gifford in my new role as early childhood director. And I come to you with a genuine desire to just use my years of experience as principal to take over Mrs. McHenry's reins as she takes on her new challenge. Early childhood education is one of my passions. And I've always said to myself and to my colleagues that, if we could only get to the families earlier, and this opportunity will give me the chance to do that. This is my opportunity to support and nurture and transition pre-K and kindergarten families into the public education setting, while at the same time, I'll learn the strengths and the areas of improvement within this early learning environment at Cushman School. So I've had experience in all facets of education, from early education to the college level. I enjoy working with teams that hold children most important in their decision making, as I know that Dartmouth does that. Currently, I've been working remotely with some of the staff at Dartmouth, and I can already feel that there's a connection there, and I feel that it'll be a team that will be a wonderful one to work with, and I hope to contribute to it as much as I possibly can. Right now, I've been really busy, as I'm sure all of us in the country have been doing, all educators. It's just preparing a safe and secure way to get folks back into the buildings and bring children into the schools in whatever kind of hybrid or remote model we might need. So I've been working really hard here in Falmouth, and at the same time trying to do as much as I can now to start learning names and meeting you and seeing. This is an interesting situation. I'm very lucky to be taking on a position where I haven't been in a school yet. I haven't met anybody face to face yet, except through Zoom, and to feel the way I feel already. I'm really excited about it. So I I don't want to take up your time tonight, but I am willing and able to answer any questions that you might have of me, or anything I can do to help with the transition process, just let me know.
Great.
Great. Chris?
Yeah, I guess I'll start off. First and foremost, welcome to Dartmouth. We are very happy to have you. I speak for myself, and I think for the rest of the committee, that we are very proud of the Dartmouth Public School System and the set of individuals that Dr. Gifford has put together over the years. And I look forward to, I'm sure we all look forward to you coming on board and bringing your expertise. I'm just curious, what brings you to Dartmouth? What did you see in Dartmouth that really drew you to Dartmouth?
I have to tell you, your strategic plan is very similar to the strategic plan that I helped build here in Falmouth. I believe in access and equity and reaching all children, and being in supports that provide everybody the access that they need to be able to appreciate the teaching that's done by our professionals. And I know that our populations are similar with regards to children and their social emotional needs. And I have a lot of experience working with children that have some deficits in those areas. And I feel that I could, bring a lot to Dartmouth in that area. But also you have safety and security, I believe, was a primary aspect of your strategic plan. And that too, I've been, it's very, very important to me for children to be safe and secure. I believe in partnerships, and they can come in forms of PLCs within a school building, and they can come within the buildings, they can come within the district at different levels, and also from the community and the family. So I really am excited about, just building partnerships and that dynamic, because, together so much more can be done.
Excellent. Well, you really are joining a great team, I think, and I wish you nothing but success.
Great. Thank you. I'm excited about it. I really am.
All right, John?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Justine, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Question I have for you is, what do you see as some of the challenges with in this day and age with early childhood education?
Yeah, I think
And how do you tackle it? I'm sorry.
So some of the challenges that I see.
Yeah. And how do you tackle them?
Okay. So I believe that some of the challenges are that some of the majority of the families can be younger. So they're coming into, first time situations with many of the children coming into preschool or kindergarten, and just the challenge is sometimes to bring the families along to believe that we're all in this for the betterment of the child, and to have them have trust in us, and to believe that we have the same priority, which is the health and welfare of their child. And some of the challenges are just, some families may have come through public education and not have had the great experiences that many of us have had, and hold on to that. And now they're bringing their babies back into that same setting that they once, maybe didn't have such a rewarding time with. And there's a lot of, I think, anxiety and maybe just a need to be supported in a way that can really, have them believe in what we're doing, and know that we're a team and we're working together.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Carol?
Yes, hi, Justine. I just want to welcome you. I was reviewing your resume. It's quite impressive, and I think you have a lot to offer Dartmouth. And as someone who's been in the Dartmouth system for a long time, I know you're going to be very pleased with the different personnel that you meet. And I just want to wish you the best in your new endeavor.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Dr. Jenkins?
I just also want to welcome you, and I don't know if Melissa has scoped out like what everyone on the board, where we're coming from, but if she did, she'll probably tell you that for early childhood education, I am like play is the magic word for me. I think it's just so important for our youngest kids to have fun at school, right? Because what we're teaching them when they start is to love school, and that's the most important that they can learn. So that's music to my ears, just so you know. I love to hear talk about the fun that they're having. And it sounds like you have great background and experience. I'm sure you're going to create a great and positive learning environment for those kids.
Great. I believe in play, it's primary. That's how we all began to learn to be, just to be personable, to be people, to navigate those conversations. I mean, play is learning as well. So I don't see a real clear delineation between play and teaching and learning. You can make everything. I mean, we can be playing in the 4th grade, right, and still be learning at the same time. So it's all in the approach and the messaging, I think, and the opportunity to let the expectation be that play is learning.
I hear echo. I just want to welcome you. As you're learning through this remote, time, you've got a great team that you'll be working, alongside and learning from and teaching as well. And John, my fellow colleague here was talking about challenges, and what a challenge. You have right now, you're like living it. And so, with turning 3 and all of that stuff that, is yet to kind of be ironed out, and kids coming back and the feelings around feeling safe. And so I'm sure you'll, reading your resume, I'm sure you'll rise to that occasion. And I guess my advice is just check in with those that are mentoring you here in the district, the great team. And I have, the staff that's there and Melissa as well, and they'll lead you and help you. So just don't feel like you're at it alone, in this remote time. So
right.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to meeting the Cushman staff tomorrow. Melissa's invited me into her staff meetings, so that will be happening. I know there's so much I'd like to be doing, and I know I don't really officially start till July 1st, while I still am here at my school doing our district and having the challenges here. It's just, I wish there was 2 of me right now, one that could be working in Dartmouth and one that could be doing Falmouth, but I'm really trying to just meld the 2 together and try to learn from both districts at the same time, because we're all dealing with similar challenges at this particular time. But yes, I am looking very forward to meeting the staff at Cushman as well.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Well, thank you for taking time to stop into this meeting and introduce yourself. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to getting to know you more.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Good luck.
Yes,
Justine,
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wonderful. Okay, so actually, I'm going to turn it right back over to you, Dr. Gifford. You have a presentation to make to 2 deserving Dartmouth High School seniors. So look forward to that.
Absolutely. So, and I know we're going to have Mr. Tebow on board here, as well as the 2 students. They'll be coming into our meeting. But tonight we are very excited to be able to award 2 of our excellent seniors, Sabrina Pyers and Victor Gonzalez, each with the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Certificate of Academic Excellence. These students were selected by and recommended to me, were selected by the high school and recommended to me as students who have excelled in their studies, as well as being acknowledged as peer leaders. And to boot tonight, we have an extra special announcement to make, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Tebow to speak about our students and give a little bio about both of them. But we have been informed by the high school that Mr. Richard Gill, as you know, one of our assistant principals, has volunteered to sponsor 2 scholarships for these students. So the scholarships will be funded by the Gill Family Charitable Trust Fund in Mr. Gill's father's name for $1,000 each. So we are so appreciative to Mr. Gill for again, coming on board last year and just wanting to do something for our students. And I can't thank him enough, and I'm sure the students will be very appreciative of that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Tebow to speak about our two students.
Thank you, Dr. Gifford. So I wanted to talk about our two students. So the first recipient of the Superintendent's Excellence Award is a young man who has taken the most rigorous coursework offered at Dartmouth High School, completing 7 advanced placement courses during his 4 years of study, which has placed him at the top of our graduating class. He didn't do that great in those courses. He did have, his lowest grades were an A, with several A pluses in those 7 AP courses. Victor's a young man who emigrated to the United States from Brazil in 2003, and he became an American citizen last year. He's the class of 2020's vice president. He's the mellophone section leader in the national championship Dartmouth High School marching band. In addition to that, he's a member of the jazz band and an integral member of the 7571 robotics team at Dartmouth High School, where he handled all of the programming responsibilities. Victor's been keeping himself busy during the quarantine. This exceptional young man is passionate about researching diabetes, which is motivated in part by his 10-year dealings with diabetes as a type 1 diabetic. And so he's looking forward to researching diabetes as he continues his studies. And during quarantine, he's already programmed an application that allows him to collect and store his blood sugars for the next year, after which time he plans to analyze those results and focus his research on how best to stabilize and treat the blood sugar level. I can think of no one more deserving of the recognition tonight than Victor Gonzalez. And I don't believe I've mentioned, but he'll be continuing his education in the fall at Harvard, where he'll attend on a full ride scholarship. So we are very proud of Victor and offer him congratulations as one of the 2 recipients this evening. The second recipient of the Superintendent's Excellence Award is a young lady who has demonstrated herself to be an exceptional member of the Dartmouth High School community in her own right. She too has taken many of the most rigorous courses offered at Dartmouth High School during her 4 years as a student, including 5 advanced placement courses. And in fact, just today, we're very proud of her. She sat for the AP biology exam, and we're positive she did very well on that. She's a member of the National Honor Society. She has served as class secretary for the past 2 years. She's a member of the Principal's Advisory Council, and she served this past fall as one of the captains of the girls' soccer team. Sabrina Pyers is very deserving of recognition tonight, and she will be continuing her education in the fall in the honors program at Emmanuel College studying neuroscience. So congratulations to Sabrina as well.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I would like to turn it over to my colleagues on the committee. Who wants to go?
Sure.
John.
Sure, I'll go. I'll start. First and foremost, Victor, congratulations to you.
Mr. News.
How we doing? I can let the committee know this about Victor. What you see is what you get. I've had the privilege of having him in the band, being under my tutelage and everything for the past 5 years. And a nicer young man you will not meet. I mean, he's always very pleasant, very kind. Doesn't, until I saw this today, in all seriousness, I had no idea he was that kind of a student. He doesn't, run it out there or anything of that nature, and is always looking to help people. So Victor, congratulations. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. News.
Sabrina, congratulations, to take, going into honors at an Emmanuel for neuroscience or that type of deal is something, listen, I have no idea. If science and math were not my 2 strong points, I can assure you of that. But I just, being as involved as you are, and Victor, it's, people don't realize what students do in high school these days. And congratulations, and wish you nothing but the best. You're muted.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chris?
I'm going to go next. Sabrina and Victor, extremely proud of both of you. What for two students your age, what a set of achievements that both of you have done during your 4 years in high school. I myself cannot be prouder of the two of you. I wish you nothing but success in college. This is what an awkward time we're in, looking at where we've come and where we're going. But I have faith that the two of you, no matter what you set your goals to be, that you will achieve those goals. I think there's no doubt in my mind. So once again, congratulations on this very impressive award. And it sounds like the two of you are just very, very modest about it. So, take this and enjoy this time in your life. So congratulations.
Thank you, Chris. Dr. Jenkins?
So I will just echo my colleagues' comments and say, congratulations to the both of you. Serving on the school committee can be a bit of a thankless job, but when you hear stories like the two of you, I think we're all reminded of why we do this. You make us all very proud, everyone on the committee, I think, and everyone in this district. And I wish you both the most success in the next few years as you head off to college. Congratulations.
Carol?
Well, I don't know what I can add to that other than it's amazing what you both have accomplished. And I know it took a lot of hard work and a lot of effort on your part, and with the support of your parents and your family and friends and teachers. You have so much to be proud about, and I know your future is bright, and we're depending on you. The new people coming up, our students that are graduating and going on to college, you're our future leaders. So I'm so happy for you and so proud of you and wish you nothing but the best. So thank you.
Yeah, I just echo my colleagues. Lots of pride. You should be proud of yourselves, and you have so much to look forward to, and it will be fun to kind of watch you along the way to see what you achieve. So congratulations. Great. Thank you for.
Do you have anything to say, Kathleen?
Yeah, if either one of you, and you're muted, but Victor?
I mean, it's been such an honor. Like, my going through high school, I mean, it definitely was tough. And I never knew what could really happen. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that thing where never thought that what I could do was possible until junior year or whatever. But then you get there and you're like, wow. And you really look back and you're like, wow, this is I'm very honored, and it's been an experience that I will never forget. And I'm going off to college, and I look to be, or whatever I pursue, as long as I'm happy as possible, and as long as I'm really having a good time, because I know everything alongside of that will come. And even in quarantine, right? I don't know. I guess it's what you make of it, right? Obviously, it's not a time that anyone of us could have really expected. But to say that, I don't know. I've found happiness and passion within quarantine, right? With my research project for diabetes. And I guess I don't know, going through high school, I guess you do a bunch of classes and stuff, and you never really look at the meaning behind, or I feel like a lot of students don't always look at the meaning behind some of these classes, what you can do with it. And even in quarantine, to pursue what makes me most happy, I've found a really good time doing what I want to do. I've used, and it's funny because everything that I've learned in school, you never think oh, I'm not going to use this. And then to find a project where all of it kind of merged itself together into something awesome. So I'm super excited to see what college has for me. And I'm super excited to know the people that I'm going to meet and the experience that I'm going to have. And I really thank all of you for giving me such an honor. It's been such a pleasure to go to Dartmouth High. Almost had to leave because I actually am in New Bedford, and it was in I had to go through the school choice program. That was kind of scary, not gonna lie, but glad everything worked out awesome and it worked out perfectly fine. And I really can't say that Dartmouth High or any other school could have provided me such an awesome opportunity that Dartmouth has.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you, Victor.
Mm.
Yeah, great perspective.
Thank you.
Sabrina?
Thank you so much, Victor.
No problem.
I don't really know how I'm supposed to follow up that. I really like just being in a class with like such amazing and educated like people, and like it's just like been an honor just to learn from others and learn from Victor. And like he's like kind of like I kind of look up to him a little bit. Like he's like very positive and smart, and like I don't know, nothing stops him. So like I'm just thankful that I could even be considered next to him. Like it's really crazy that I could even like stand next to him at this point. So yeah, I'm just thankful for all the opportunities I've been given, and even just being thought of for this. I'm never mind chosen. This is crazy. So yeah, thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And thank you for popping into this meeting to let us honor you. Great.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
All right, let's see. So we'll move on next. On our agenda, we have public comment. So I, at the beginning, I think I overheard, or I don't know, if people want to continue with public comment at this point, maybe check in with Kate to see if anyone has submitted comment.
I have not received any, Kathleen.
Okay. So how does the committee feel? Do you want to push this to the end of the meeting and to see if anything comes, or
I'm
ahead,
good
John.
if we wait till the end. I'm sorry, my fault.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with that too, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
All right. So let's do that then.
Everyone to the contact information.
So yeah, so let me just repeat. So anyone who is watching and wants to comment on any item that's on our agenda, you can do so by emailing Kate Genther, who is our recording secretary. She'll be checking her email. Her email is listed on the bottom of this video, but I'm gonna spell it out now as well. It's Kathleen with a K and Genther. So KATHLEENGENTHNER at dartmouthschools.org. So an S at the end of schools. So please, if anyone has any comments, feel free to, I just lost everyone. Feel free to email Kate, and she will, when we revisit public comment at the end of the meeting. So we'll move on to the next item for agenda is the approval of minutes. And so we have a few. So I don't know if you want to take the regular session together or separately. I'll entertain a motion to approve minutes as you so choose. So we have the regular and executive session minutes of our April 27th meeting. And then we also have the minutes in your packet for the May 11th meeting, which was, we were in executive session, but then we also were in a joint session with the Select Board and the Finance Committee.
Yeah,
Let's
Madam
take the regular session first.
Okay. So,
I'll second
John,
that.
I'll make a motion. We approve the regular session minutes of April 27th.
So moved.
and
Second.
Carol, second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and so next, thank you, John.
Yep.
For the May 11th joint session,
Oh, all right. I make a motion. We approve the joint session minutes of May 11th, what they were.
I'll second that.
okay, all right. Any discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. So now I will entertain a motion for the executive session minutes of April 27th.
So moved, Madam Chair, with the stipulation that they be held until the matter for which they were intended is completed.
Thank you, John.
Second.
Thank you, Shannon. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then finally, we have the executive session minutes for the May 11th meeting.
So moved, Madam Chair, with the stipulation that they be held until the matter for which they were intended is complete.
I'll
Thank
second.
you. Thank you, Chris. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. So next on our agenda, we have the organization of committee. Oops. And so with that, I just want to go ahead.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Oliver to serve as chair of the Dartmouth School Committee for the next year.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, great.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I would like to make a motion to, however, were we supposed to nominate? All right, never mind. I want to make a motion to nominate Dr. Shannon Jenkins for the position of vice chair of the Dartmouth School Committee.
I'll second that.
I'm realizing now we probably were supposed to ask Chris if he accepted the nomination, but since I think we're okay.
I didn't.
I'll accept that nomination too, but that's
I didn't say no.
dream, so.
Right, and I think now I'm supposed to ask for nominations for a vice chair, right?
Yeah. That's all right.
So
We're
that's
good.
all right. So Kathleen made the motion to nominate Shannon Jenkins as the vice chair, and Dr. Karafotis, you seconded that?
Yes, I did.
Any other discussion? Chair hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Yay.
Do you accept, Shannon?
Yes, I do. Yep. I got out of it last year. You covered for me because I was in Japan, but I will step up and do my duty this time around.
I'd just like to thank Kathleen for the great job she did.
Thank you, Kathleen.
You were more
Yes.
courageous than I was.
job.
I stepped back when it was time to be a chairperson.
No,
You went forth. Good for you.
if I may, Chris, if I,
Absolutely, go
board.
ahead.
yeah, no, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, everyone. You know, it's been my pleasure to serve on this committee as chairperson over the past year. You know, it's been quite a year. We've, you know, worked through some pretty complex issues. And, you know, it's been really an honor to serve and to see all of you in sort of a different light, more directly, in that, you know, all of us, I feel, all of you are so committed to, you know, you look at other districts, you hear things in the paper, and being on a school committee might be some sort of political move in a certain way. And each of us comes to this and serves with, you know, diligence and, you know, just a real focus on what's good for the kids and what works for our staff. And it's really been, a pleasure to work with you. We all have our own perspectives. We do our own research, but we come to the table with respect and teamwork, and it's been a pleasure. But I'm happy to pass the torch to Chris. So thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen, and I'm happy to accept it. And with that being said, you know, I think it's really important to thank you for the job that you did this year. And I do agree with Kathleen, and I hope my colleagues will agree with me as well, is that in some communities and in some school districts, people do come to the table with agendas, whether it's for, you know, personal reasons or whether it's for big, broader reasons. But I'm really happy, you know, that I think this is my 7th year now on the committee. And I'm really happy to serve with the five of you. I think we all bring a unique perspective to the table. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. And I think really most importantly is that we all respect the role of the superintendent of schools, in which we allow, I think, and I at least want to believe we do, we allow Dr. Gifford and her staff to operate the school district like they're supposed to on a daily basis and do what's best for the school committee. I'm not for the school committee, but for the school department as a whole, and really look to, we really stay within, I think we do a really good job staying within our bounds and reason of, doing the responsibilities given to us under Mass General Law of overseeing policy, budget, and obviously the role of the superintendent. So I think we've done a great job, the five of us. Given Dr. Gifford that freedom to run and operate the district as she sees fit. I'm hoping we can continue down that road, and we're definitely going to have some unique challenges coming up in the fall. That's for sure. We have some unique challenges we're facing now, and as soon as school ends, we have summer school to look at, and then we look at what is fall going to look like in the Dartmouth Public Schools. So I think we all have a lot on our plate. However, I'm very optimistic that this committee will continue to do what's in the best interest of our students and staff in town. So I'd just like to say I'm thankful for the committee that we have and the relationship we have in looking to do what's best for our students.
Good job, Chris.
Thank you. That being said, it's going to take me a minute here to get back into some kind of routine. All right. So the next up is the organization of the school committee. No, of the the school committee member assignments. Correct?
No. We have to appoint Dr. Gifford as secretary. I don't think any of us wants to take notes. She might have been hoping we'd skip that, but I would like to nominate Dr. Bonnie Gifford, I believe, is who officially serves as the recording secretary.
Thank you for that catch, Madam Vice Chair.
Second.
I'm not going to accept.
By acclamation.
Mr. Noon's already seconded, so there's no escaping.
Is there any discussion on that motion of making Dr. Gifford the secretary to the school committee?
Nope.
No?
You're hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Gifford.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. So the next up is the let's see, school committee assignments. So let me bring that up here. And first up, we have the Dartmouth Education Foundation. That has previously been Dr. Shannon Jenkins. Dr. Jenkins, your pleasure.
I'll do that. That's fine.
Okay. The next one is...
Sorry, Chris, can I just say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
I think right now, Carol, I think you're on that board, although you'll be rolling off of this committee. But Mary Waite is also on that board, and so maybe that might be something that she does, presuming no write-in campaign occurs to knock her out, because we're both on the board right now. So she may be the official, but we may want to revisit that after the election. But I'm fine with her for now.
Perfect. The next up is the Southeastern Massachusetts Educational Collaborative. I've been serving on that for a number of years now. I'm happy to stay on that. We're actually in the middle of contract negotiations with the collaborative director, Catherine Cooper, and I am on that negotiations subcommittee. So unless someone has someone would really like to step up, I'm happy to stay there.
Catherine will have your head if you step down.
I know. So I'm more than happy to stay. Mass Association of School Committees, Mr. Nunes.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Seriously. I'm fine.
You're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Our negotiation representative for the is this for the superintendent's contract, my understanding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
John Nunes and Kathleen Amaral is backup.
Yeah.
What are
I'm
your
good with it.
pleasure? What's your pleasure, folks?
If Bonnie wants me, I'll stay.
Yeah, same. I'm fine with the responsibility.
Yeah, she's laughing.
Everyone all right with that? All right, I'm okay with that as well. School assignments, we decided last year that we weren't going to specifically assign anyone to specific schools. Thoughts, comments, questions on that? You'll be okay with continuing no specific assignments, or would you rather be assigned?
Personally, I'm fine the way it is. I mean, I think if the administrators need to talk to us and they call us, or we need to talk to them, we can, let them know we'd like to talk to them, and that works for me.
Anyone else? Dr. Jenkins, Dr. Karafotis? Okay. Next up, we have policy subcommittee with the assistant superintendent, Ms. Roy, Kathleen Amaral, Dr. Jenkins, and John Nunes to cover until Dr. Jenkins returns. So I guess it would be Kathleen and Dr. Jenkins.
So Chris,
Yes.
I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I'm happy to stay on this. And again, maybe this might be a good one to roll. The new policy seems to me is not super complicated. Sorry, Michelle would probably agree, but it's pretty straightforward. That was the first committee I served on, and that might be a good new one. I'm happy to stay on there until someone new comes on, and then if they want to go into that role.
Okay.
I have some interest in serving on the budget committee, though. I know Dr. Karafotis will be rolling off. So I don't know if someone else want to take policy and I do budget, but I'm fine with whatever.
All right, so we'll get there in a second. So yeah, I agree. Why don't we look to whenever the new person is their first meeting, we'll come back to this. Kate, if you could just make a note, if we could just come back to the assignment, so we could just go over this with the new person, because this is typically something they're involved with, but because this is such a unique year, let's plan on circling back to that if that's okay with the committee.
That's fine.
And then the technology committee is currently Dr. K and myself. I am happy to stay on it with the background that I have. Does someone want to jump in for Dr. K, or should we just leave that as is till after the election?
Chris, why don't we leave that where it is right now until after the election, see if, the new person wants to pop in. Of course, with my computer experience, I'd be no good.
Fair enough. Fields and Facilities Committee with the superintendent. Is that still happening with John Nunes and Kathleen Amaral?
We haven't met.
We haven't met in some time, but there's certainly the possibility that we could need to.
So, what's your guidance, Mr. Kiley? Should we keep it on there just for the sake in case we need it?
Doesn't hurt.
Okay. Is Mr. Nunes, Mrs. Amaral, are you both okay with that?
I'm good.
That's good for me.
Okay. And then we have the budget committee with Dr. K and myself. I know Dr. Jenkins has expressed interest. I am happy to step aside with that if someone else would like to give that an opportunity, or I'm more than welcome to stay on it as well. So just let me know if anyone else wants to jump in there. Go ahead.
I would be happy to, but also open to waiting for our new member, and to do it with
Okay.
Jan and John. Oh, so
Old habits die hard, Kathleen.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Mr. Nunes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In all seriousness, I mean, if Shannon wants to do it with you, or if Shannon and Kathleen want to do it, and then I can back them up, I can be the backup if necessary. I'm good with that. Whatever way the committee wants to handle it, I'm good.
Okay. Is that something you want to swap with me, Kathleen, on the budget subcommittee?
Yeah, I would be interested in that.
Okay. I'm fine giving that up.
And so be
And
Shannon,
then it'll be Shannon and Kathleen.
and then I'll back them up.
Sure, that sounds good.
If Jim will have me.
Of course.
And I believe that is it. So once the new member comes on board, we can revisit this just to get them acquainted with the assignments, and we can go from there. Does the board have any other questions about this?
Welcome back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Nunes. I don't know if I don't know if I should say thank you or this is a good. It'll be a fun year. One way or the other, we're gonna make this a good year.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
Absolutely. I'm with you on this. So next up, we have 7:20, almost right on the money at 7:16 here under new business discussion of school transportation contract. Mr. Kiley.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. So I don't have a contract tonight for you to consider, but last Monday, it did come up at the joint meeting. Mr. Harron brought up the question of whether or not we're paying our transportation providers. So I'd like to fill you in on where this has developed. We originally, in week one of shutdown, began talking about this. And when I say we, myself and my colleagues throughout the state began to wonder, okay, so we have a contract with these people. We tell them that we are requiring a certain service and they agree to provide it. And they make arrangements, significant arrangements. They're our largest contractor and they're most districts' largest contractor. So the state at that time, over the first couple of weeks, began to talk about it too, and we were hoping that they would provide us with some guidance as to how to proceed. Well, here we are, a couple of months later, and we don't have anything definitive yet. There's a bill that is in the legislature regarding payment for available services. So where the law currently says you can only pay if services have been provided, there is the notion that you should, in this case, pay or should be able to choose to pay for services that may need to be provided in the future. Obviously, these companies range in size. There are some national companies that provide school transportation services to school districts. Our vendor, Tremblay's, is based locally and is sort of a small to medium-sized provider. Big concern, several years ago, in the state, we had a bankruptcy of a transportation provider, and they went out of business, and it caused an unbelievable nightmare of how are we going to get all the districts that company served, how are we going to get the kids to school? So this is a much larger scale, obviously, and the risk is that as we lose, providers throughout the state to bankruptcy, and there'll be the chance that it's going to really impact our service moving forward, either our vendor's ability to provide the service or the cost of the service. So I am of the opinion that that contractually we have some obligation. While the contract is silent as to this scenario because nobody's ever dealt with it before, I think that if this were to be litigated, there would be an obligation on our part to provide some level of payment to these folks. So all of my colleagues, I think the majority of districts in the state agree with that. So then comes, okay, but what do you pay? And that is a difficult question to answer. These contracts are often there's proprietary information that vendors are very reluctant to release that would give competitive advantage to their competitors in the bidding process. And so to look at audited financial statements and be able to determine exactly how much a provider should be paid is not realistic. The state recognized that early on and started to ask us to get together in groups. So we've done that, and we are working, I'm working with several other local districts to negotiate with the providers in the area to come up with some proposal on their part that we could support. I originally, early on, heard that some districts are paying as much as 80% of the cost for transportation, which to me doesn't seem quite right. There are a lot of variables, obviously labor being a major one. Some companies are paying their full staff, some companies are paying their partial staff, and some companies are paying not many people. And relying on the unemployment system to support those folks. So that's a big variable from district to district. Labor makes up about 30% of we estimate anyway, about 30% of the cost of these bids. So it's a big portion of the cost. Then there's gasoline that obviously is not being incurred, and smaller items like maintenance on the buses and so forth. However, there's also a lot of cost that is incurred on our behalf in terms of buying the buses, leasing the buses, insuring the buses, and so forth. So, make a long story short, we are in negotiations discussing something in the range of 50 to 60% of the cost being paid. So, it would result in a significant savings to the town. Which obviously, our intent through discussions with the town administration, they recognize that, we'd likely have some savings through this horrible time. And we recognize that. And while it's important that we prepare for next year and what we're doing for the rest of this year, we very well might turn some money back to the town as a result of something like this. So I really just wanted to inform you and certainly seek your feedback, and hopefully, because ultimately it will require your support to move forward with something in this general plan. So.
Dr. Jenkins?
Thanks for that update, Mr. Kiley. One of the things I was trying to convey in the joint meeting, I'm not sure they really got that point or anything from us in that meeting, but one of my concerns is that we don't quite know what next year is going to look like for us. Ideally, it will look kind of like a normal year, right? Where kids are going to school the full day, but there is some possibility, I hear lots of states talking about split school days and kids going on different days. And so there is some possibility that for us next year that we have actually significantly increased, right, busing costs because we may be running different routes or more routes in a given day. And so I don't wonder if there's some way that if we are giving back 40 to 50% of our, that portion, if that could be earmarked in some way for next year, if we could request that from the town. Just as a stabilization, if we have a period where our bus costs are going up, that could be earmarked for that money and then rolled in later. Because my concern is that they're going to say, all right, there's across the board 5% cuts, but then our costs are going up. So that ends up being like a significantly bigger cut for us if our costs are going up. So I'm hopeful that we could maybe request that in some ways, I don't know that we create a stabilization fund, but in some way we earmark that to guard us against future loss or increases in that busing contract.
It's a very legitimate concern. We have no idea yet as to what school bus transportation is going to look like. Obviously, we don't know what school's going to look like. And we certainly don't know how to get them there and get them home. And obviously, if social distancing on a bus is necessary, that is a real game changer.
Yeah.
I don't know. We would need, if we were still transporting all of the kids every day, yeah, we might triple.
Right. So maybe we could propose that whatever savings we're giving back related to that be somehow, again, earmarked against that potential issue.
Mhm. I can certainly relay that to the town side and start it off. Absolutely.
It would at least provide a good buffer, if anything else.
It would.
Mr. Nunes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kylie, correct me if I'm wrong, but the anything that we save and we turn back to the town is going to, quote unquote, go into free cash surplus revenue. So
That's correct.
part of that town pot, whether it be a special town meeting we have in September, depending how things are, or the actual, October town meeting. So it all would be part of that one pot of funds, if I'm correct.
You certainly are. I think what we could ask for, and maybe the committee wants to formally act on this suggestion, would be for them to have some sort of a commitment, an acknowledgement and a commitment that they support the uncertainty and that we recognize that we're returning this money, but because I don't think a stabilization account, I don't think that's going to happen for it. But any acknowledgement on their part, or we seek their support in that regard.
I'd be good with that. I can make that motion if you would like, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Karafotis, did you have something to add?
First of all, I would certainly support that motion. Mr. Kylie, when you said you're in negotiations, who are you negotiating with? The bus company or the group of other business managers throughout the state? Are you talking with them about what's fair?
Yeah, so what we are doing is sharing our information amongst each other. And that way we have some leverage and it's not a one-to-one, negotiation when we speak to our providers. I'll say, I have a great relationship with our provider. They are a wonderful company for us. I have no complaints with them. This situation is unfortunate for everybody, and I'm hoping that, we can come to a resolution and with them, but it is a negotiation and takes two parties to agree with that. And it's a significant impact on everybody involved. So certainly a major impact on their business, and a major impact on the town. So we're trying to come up with something amicable, and I think we will. I think that our hope was that the state would take a little more leadership in it, so that there would be more consistency across the state. But I don't. First of all, I don't think we can wait any longer for them, and I doubt that they will. So.
If you come to an agreement with the bus company, does that have to go through the approval of town, or is that just within the school department?
Just within the school department, but I intend to bring something to your to a school committee meeting for your approval.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I guess I'll just add that I don't think anyone in the committee wants to strike a deal with them that's going to put them out of business. I think that would be the catastrophic, effect, and I don't think that hurts everyone in this aspect. So I know that Mr. Nunes said he was willing to make a motion. So are you still willing to, Mr. Nunes?
Oh, heck, sure, absolutely. I make a motion that we have Mr. Kylie notify town hall that we would like any funds that are returned in school transportation to be earmarked, to be set aside once they're certified for potential shortfalls in the school transportation account for school year 2021.
I second that motion.
Is that clear enough, Mr. Kiley, to bring to town hall, you think?
I think it is.
Perfect. So we have a motion by Mr. Nunes, a second by Mrs. Amaral, and the motion, any other discussion? Dr. Jenkins.
Can I just add one thing? And I know this is the intention of Mr. Nunes' motion, but I just want to make it clear that this may be necessary, but not sufficient to cover any shortfalls, right? I think that we need to communicate that clearly. I know it's like, I just want to make sure that everyone in our audience hears this. This may just be a down payment on what we need. And I think we need to be, I was nervous about this at that joint meeting that they were talking about, well, let's tell us what you're going to cut, what you're going to cut, what you're going to cut. And it's like, well, yes, but our situation's a little bit different because while we may hope for the state to be this refrain of the pandemic, we hope the state would take more leadership. They may perhaps at some point decide to do that and again impose significant cost increases, mandates that increase our costs. And so I think we just need to continually, I'm sure you do, Mr. Kiley, and Dr. Gifford does, but I think we all need to continually reiterate that to the other boards that there may be some different things going on this side of the house, and they just need to be reminded of that at all times. Doing our part to try to turn some back, but they're going to have to realize that things may be different over here.
Excellent point. Any other discussion, Mr. Nunes?
Yeah, just to kind of agree with, agree with what Shannon said too, is the fact that, and I've kind of said this before a lot of years ago is, we're in a people business. So, yeah, we can cut a ream of paper and a box of paper clips, but, when we start to have to make major cuts, it comes down to people. And when you start cutting, teachers and aides and everything else, you get the flip on the other side with, larger class sizes and everything else. So it's a double-edged sword that we on this side of the town budget have to face and get through.
Yep.
Anything else? All right, chair hearing none. All in favor of Mr. Nunes' motions, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Nunes. Thank you, Mr. Kiley.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chair, one other thing.
Yes.
One other thing that we haven't talked about, the select board asked us to forward a copy of that contract to
Yeah, that's where I was headed.
Savastano. What's the situation there? That was an unusual request, so to speak. So I'm wondering what the status of this is and what everyone's thoughts are. I'm sure Mr. Nunes has thoughts on that.
We're on live television, so I'll be very nice. But my answer is that's what we pay counsel for. No need for anyone else to look at it. Have a nice day. No.
I agree.
Anyone else?
Just want to make sure we state that clearly. So, if Mr. Kiley or Dr. Gifford has asked for that, they can say our committee was pretty clear about what they think about that request.
Let me think about that for a second. No. Okay. Simple as that.
Now, I'm in agreement with all of you as well. We have our own counsel that can be handled within the school department.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. Go ahead, Mr. Nunes.
The town would probably send us a bill for having Anthony look at it. No, thank you.
All right. Do you have anything else under the transportation contract, Mr. Kiley?
I do not. Thank you for your support.
No, thank you. Something I do just want to mention quickly. I know that was with Trembley's. What about our smaller contracts with special education?
Yeah, we actually currently use Trembley's for our special education.
Okay.
As well. And across the state, that's a similar topic of discussion. So it's really being treated very similarly.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if we had any other vendors besides Trembley's for special ed.
No, we provide some of the transportation ourselves, but we've sort of reduced that to be on a fairly limited basis. But just other than that, it's they are providing both right now.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Amaral.
Just one comment when you talk about people too. I just let everyone knows my son is a recipient of special ed, and full disclosure, he's out of district. And when you talk about people and you talk about working with a small bus company like Trembley's, the people that support those kiddos like my son are so valuable and really part of what makes or breaks a child having a good experience. It sets the tone. And in our personal experience, we did some social distancing, and the monitor on the bus that my son drives to school on brought me some flowers for Mother's Day. And so it's, when you talk about people and you talk about staff and you talk about what makes our community great, I mean, Trembley's is a big part of it right now too. So I just want to make that point.
No, thank you so much for sharing that. And that's actually a really good point, that it takes time to build relationships like that what you just mentioned. So thank you. All right. Next up, we have the superintendent's update. Dr. Gifford.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. So just a couple of things. As you know, we're still proceeding with our remote learning, and things are going as well as can be expected. But coming up to the end of the year, I just wanted to let you know that all of our schools are planning various virtual events as best as they can, especially for those transition years. And I did let the elementary principals know this, today's Monday, Friday when we met, that Cindy Marlin from DCTV is offered to help any of the schools do that, set up a virtual show, et cetera, But we do have some information from the middle school, some of the ceremonies that they'll be conducting and the orientation that they'll be having, the virtual tours of the building for the incoming 6th grade, et cetera. All of this is happening very soon, within the first week or two of June. And rather than go through all of those details, it's just easy to keep posting that schedule of events. And I know the individual schools are sending them out via email to their families. But I just wanted you to know that, that is all in the works, and none of the kiddos are left out as far as scrambling of what am I going to know? How am I going to know about the school, et cetera. So those dates will be posted, and either some of them will be live via DCTV, et cetera. And especially, I will give you that the 8th grade promotion will be a virtual stream live, and that will be on June 11th at 6 p.m. That's the 8th grade group. And they'll be sending out more details on that. And you all received, and we've posted and sent via email, et cetera, the high school's newsletter that Mr. Tebow sent out, really detailing all of the events that have been in the works, and the details have been ironed out for many of those. I have to say that all of this comes with a lot of hard work and scrutinizing the details, scrutinizing the data to try to do the best we can for the students. We know how hard this is for everyone, but not an event goes by that folks are not really putting a lot of thought into planning. And for example, we met again with the police department via Zoom this morning to finalize some of the details for the parade that we're planning for the seniors. So other than the actual virtual graduation that is being planned, that the kids will have that chance to wear their gown. They will be going to the podium. They will be able to receive their certificate, their diploma, take their pictures with their immediate family, et cetera. We will also be having a parade on June 7th in the morning at 9 a.m. And the route will be pretty much from the high school to the middle school, The police have been wonderful to help us with that. So but we're just happy to say that it's going to happen. So that's a good thing. As far as, let's see, the graduation gown pickup, that's happening as well, coming up. And also the closeout of the school for the seniors. So it's just important for folks to know that a lot of thought is going into, along with the Board of Health. Chris Mishu came to the high school with us last week with Mr. Kiley, myself, and Ross to walk through what we were proposing and to just get the go-ahead from them. So I think that's all. We will continue to post those details, hoping that nobody misses out and doesn't catch that. But that's what I have.
Thank you, Dr. Gifford. Dr. Karafotis.
I just want to mention, do you have any idea when the signs are going to be available for the high school seniors?
I have it here somewhere. Let's see. They were they were customized lawn signs. It says the week to be delivered to the high school the week of May 25th.
Okay. I was just going to say, I've seen them around from, other schools, Westport and Stang.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wonderful idea that maybe not just for this year, but something to consider in the future. I mean, it's one way to acknowledge our graduating seniors and what they have accomplished. And I don't think it can be that expensive an outlay. But from my point of view, I just, the first time I saw them, I said, that's a great idea. Why don't we just do this all the time? But
Well,
that's my 2 cents.
More to come on that, Dr. Karafotis. More to come.
Okay.
Dr. Jenkins?
So I just want to really give a big round of thanks to everyone in the district who's helping out in planning these events. I know this is a really hard, and the people are upset because we can't, as I predicted when talking about allowing people to give input, we can never make everyone happy with this, and people feel very strongly about it. And I know it's been hard, particularly I saw Sabrina posted a video on social media, and I know even at the high school level too, in particular, there's a lot of kids who have put a lot of thought and effort into this. And they're trying really hard. So I know that we are all, I think, very thankful for that effort, both our kids and the people working in the district. But I would also ask people in the community to show everyone a little bit of grace, right? Everyone is trying their best. And so just be kind to everyone who's doing this. People are trying the best they can. So just take a deep breath. And, if you got to go offline and vent, go ahead, but just try to be kind, because everyone's just trying to make the best out of a bad situation. And so I would like to, I hope you can convey for all of us, Dr. Gifford, to everyone on the staff as well, how much we really appreciate all the work and thought and effort that they put into this.
I'll be sure to do that, because I know some of the emails that come, especially to Mr. Tebow at this time, but I will definitely, and he might be watching right now, but definitely share that. And you're right. I mean, and we partner with the various community organizations. As I said, the Board of Health, the police department, folks have been so helpful in trying, DCTV, just try to help us organize these events for the kids so we can celebrate them as, and I have to say, tomorrow night is the showing of the National Honor Society. So that's one thing that we've been working on. And Tuesday, May 19th at 7 p.m. So on DC, on direction, let's see. Oh, there's a link on that s'mores, so make sure. But anyway, thank you, Dr. Jenkins, because you're right. Folks have really put a lot of thinking into that and thought. And actually, Ross just texted me. He said, thank you.
So he is watching.
He is watching.
Thank you, Ross. I guess that's brings me up next. So, I think I'll just echo what Dr. Jenkins was saying. Just this is clearly a team effort, and where I know everyone's getting tired of hearing unprecedented times. I know I have, but I'll say it one more time that it is, And, we're day to day right now as the information comes in and as the governor makes announcements. But I think everyone in Dartmouth overall, I think the Dartmouth Public School System has a lot to be proud of with its staff stepping up to the plate. I really do. You look at our neighboring district, Westport, who's now had to furlough over 100 staff. Which it's unfathomable to me, and I don't know how that's going to operate, but that's not for me to get worried about. But I do know that what we're doing here in Dartmouth, I think, is making a difference. And while we can't get to all our students, those students that are reluctant to maybe join those Zooms or participate, I think we're all, for the most part, are doing the best we can. So that being said, Carol, do we have Carol for one more meeting? I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Yes, I do. I'll be back one more time.
One more time. All right. So if we have to have a virtual cake with you or something, we'll definitely we'll celebrate you being on the committee and being such a wonderful committee member and colleague.
Thank you very much.
My other question, not so much of a notice, but my other question is just under what is with the governor's new announcements, what's the plan for building work, for summer projects, for are we keeping the offices closed? And also just so the general public knows what's going on. I don't know if Dr. Gifford, you want to take it, or Mr. Kiley?
I'll just speak to one thing, and Mr. Kiley can certainly speak. We haven't had a chance to chat about his ideas for cleaning, et cetera, but just tentatively, as of listening to the governor today, opening up offices, et cetera, at 25% capacity. So we'll be setting up a schedule for folks to come in and out of our office, keeping folks distance as much as possible, but being able to open the office up for everybody to get their work done. We have been in and out. Folks have been keeping their distance.
Absolutely.
But we'll have a little bit more of a firmer schedule starting probably next week. And again, I haven't spoken to Mr. Kiley about it, but he might have some more to say about cleaning, et cetera.
Okay.
Sure. So, our plan is to proceed with some of the projects that we already have funding for. Obviously, we won't be doing the major project, the construction at Dartmouth Memorial Stadium this summer, but we are continuing to plan for that. So we'll have the ability to move forward with plans in the future to proceed with that project and complete the project. Some of the other things that we're going to focus on this summer, we're going to continue. We've been redoing classrooms at the middle school for some time. You've heard me talk about this before. Basically, we go top to bottom and replace the ceiling, the lighting with energy efficiency lighting. We paint the room, we do the floors, brand new floors. So we basically just renovate the entire room. It makes a huge difference. And it's a very old and worn building, especially in certain spots. So it makes a huge difference educationally. Hopefully we'll be able to use it in full force in the fall. So that's probably our biggest project, but we also are expecting funding at town meeting for some capital improvement projects that include the bleacher replacement at the middle school and the Quinn School. So the middle school's bleachers are just so far gone beyond their useful life that they're not really safe to be used. So we hope to move forward with those projects and hope that we can, proceed with timelines. Like, for instance, one thing we're concerned about, that top to bottom middle school classroom replacement. Obviously, the health of everyone in the buildings is of paramount importance, and maintaining a good, clean, safe environment for them to do their work is important. But we also don't know if we can get supplies. Manufacturers have been closed. There's a backlog of supply orders, very basic things. So we're gonna take it day by day, like we're doing with everything else right now. But we are planning on proceeding, and we'll be cleaning the buildings obviously as we usually do as well. So we'll be proceeding with that in the future. Right now, we're still focused on return of student belongings. So that is going to be happening in all of the schools in the upcoming weeks. It'll be in a very organized and safe way for everyone, providing social distancing, protective equipment use, and limit contact, obviously, still at this point. So,
Well, thank you for that update, Mr. Kiley.
you're welcome.
All right, Kate, do we have anything on public comment before we wrap up?
No, haven't received anything.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Mr.
I
Chairman?
believe yes,
Thank you.
Mr.
I got
Nunes.
a couple of quick questions here. For you to Mr. Kiley, usually somewhere around this time, you look for authorization to open the budget up so you can do what you need to do at year end. And again, I know this is an entirely different year, but do you still need that authorization?
I would anticipate, I was planning on asking you that at the next school committee meeting. So I think I can wait till then, but yes, it's a necessary part of.
No, I totally understand. But I mean, and that kind of leads me to my next question to you, Mr. Chairman, is our next meeting is scheduled for June 22nd, which is like 5 weeks from now. And with everything going on, and again, I realize when we put this meeting together, this schedule together back in, December, this was not on our radar.
Right.
Do we need to meet before then, or should we just play it by ear and see what goes on?
I think that is a long period of time. And my personal opinion is I think we should try to get something on the books while we're all together here between now and then. And I'm sure Dr. K would love to be around for another meeting.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Chris.
I mean, because
what
we got what, the 22nd. So I mean, if we split it and met either the
8th.
I think the 8th would be a good time.
I mean, I'm not trying. I know everybody's busy and everything else, but I just.
My calendar's open.
Okay.
No, I agree. I think this is, this is a very important time that we're going through right now. I think it's important to stay in communication.
And depending what comes up, especially as we're closing one school year and per se kind of almost getting ready to start to open a new school year, with, the fluid information, hopefully coming from the state.
Right. Kathleen, are you okay with the 8th?
Yeah, works for me.
Shannon?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And Carol's wide open.
I'm wide open.
All right, so we will schedule our next meeting on Monday, June 8th.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nunes. Does anyone else have anything to share?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purposes of an update on negotiations with union personnel not to reconvene.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Nunes, a second by Dr. Jenkins. On the motion, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Chris Oliver,
Yes.
Shannon Jenkins,
Yes.
Carol Karafotis,
Yes.
Kathleen Amaral,
Yes.
John Nunes.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
See you on the flip side.
All right.